Welcome back. It is 6:35. Administrators and staff at a Louisville school want students to know they have somewhere to turn to if they feel they are being bullied. This middle school hosted a special assembly yesterday for the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders to talk about bullying, the effects, and where to go for help. The students heard a special message from Contact Helpline, a telephone crisis intervention program in Columbus. The organization provides resources to adults and youth who may be having suicidal thoughts. A tragedy that's still weighing deeply on the hearts and minds of residents in our area. The fact remains, it could have happened to anyone's child, sister, niece, or even friend. But after the shock wore off, the conversation on bullying began. You may remember Mariah Isaacs, the 12-year-old girl whose mother we spoke to, who says bullying contributed to her daughter's death. Well, this morning we continue the discussion with a local expert and politician.
There's a difference between being mean and being bullied.
Bullying is something that is purposeful, has a targeted person, happens on a frequent basis, and usually becomes more intense the longer it is carried out.
Counselor and play therapist Wendy Woods says once that line is crossed, the effects on a child can be devastating.
It can impact their self-esteem, it can impact their social functioning. It can cause a child who was once very energetic and outgoing and even confident to have a slip in grades.
If your child is acting out or behaving differently, Woods says that's when parents should start asking questions.
If you're going to take it a few steps further in asking your child about their day, about their feelings, about their friends, make sure that you actually are stopping and having a moment to speak with them, not just superficially listening.
A conversation that Woods believes should be happening at home, but in Jackson, the conversation is growing among lawmakers.
Now let's be clear, there are no federal anti-bullying laws, even though ironically I did some checking and all 50 states have anti-bullying legislation, including Mississippi. In our state, House Bill 263 allows school districts to develop their own policies on bullying, and it gives victims the right to defend themselves.
Some school districts have zero tolerance when it relates to altercations that take place in school.
State House Representative Kabir Kareem is one of the co-authors of the bill. Governor Phil Bryant signed off on the legislation earlier this year.
Times have changed. It seems like our environment has become more violent. We just have to be, number one, more focused on our children, what they're doing, who they're interacting with.
Now, House Bill 263 will go into effect July 1st. So how often does bullying happen to children in the U.S. and in Mississippi? Well, a Wallet Hub study examined different states, and it compiled a list of who has the lowest bullying rates. The study found the states with the highest percentage of students bullied on school property are number 1, Nebraska, number 2, Idaho, number 3, Michigan, coming in at 4th, Montana, and Virginia comes in as the 5th highest state. Good news, Mississippi did not make that list, but I did find the Magnolia State on another one. The states with the highest percentage of students who miss school out of fear of being bullied, number 1, Louisiana, 2, South Carolina, Tennessee comes in at number 3, and Hawaii at number 4. Mississippi was last, the 5th highest state with that percentage. Wallet Hub compiles their data using statistics from the Bureau of Labor Statistics and the U.S. Census Bureau. Now, one thing I want to point out, when we talk about bullying, it's easy for us adults to get defensive and judge the aggressor. Well, the expert I spoke to, counselor and play therapist Wendy Woods, had this to say when I asked how should adults approach situations involving bullies and their children. Take a listen.
One of the things that I want to be clear about is that adults and children alike need to show and exhibit grace when dealing with the aggressor or the bully, because 9 times out of 10 that child has been bullied or is hurting in some other way themselves. And it is not okay for us as adults to model a spirit of judgment towards the child that has bullied another one. We need to approach that child as if that child is hurting in some way, because I promise you they are.
Now, Woods recommends parents take up the issue with the child's parent, but in a civilized manner. And if you can't do that, she says go to the school and present the administration with the facts. Try and stray away from telling them about how you feel about the incident and demand their response. We'll be right back with more Sunrise after this.